The second game of the London series just wrapped up a few minutes ago with the Denver Broncos taking a 2-point win over the New York Jets 13-11. Honestly, this was a bad game. Justin Fields ends up with 45 total passing yards. The Broncos as a whole, even though they're the winning team, had 3 of their 15 third down conversions end up in a first down. They had penalties. They only had 12 total first downs. They had only 246 total yards. And the Jets just... There's a few things going wrong with the Jets right now. The first thing is that, for whatever reason, Justin Fields it's his third team in 3 years. It's the same story. He is getting sacked over and over and over again. Today he finishes with 9 completed passes and having taken 9 sacks for over 55 yards. So if you look at it, Justin Fields threw for 45 yards. He was sacked for 55 yards. In total, the Jets' net passing attack got them negative 10 yards. The running game really was not much better. 31 carries in total for 92 yards. Breece Hall had 22 of those for about 60. But again, this Justin Fields, he needs to be running the ball more. It's very, very obvious that instead of having 5 to 10 carries a game, this needs to be an offense that is prioritizing using his legs for 10 to even upwards of 20 attempts a game. And honestly, it might be time to bench Justin Fields. It really might be. I don't want to go as far as to say that all of the offensive issues are on him and he's the sole reason that this team is 0-6 still. But you look at the few throws that he had at the end of the game, those were bad throws by Justin Fields to Garrett Wilson. They put Garrett Wilson in positions to get hurt, to just be honest with you. And they put Garrett Wilson in positions where he almost has to play defensive back and keep the ball from getting intercepted. Both of those plays on out routes, it was basically the exact same route twice that Garrett Wilson ran. An out route, a speed out to the left side of the field. And Justin Fields was behind him on both throws. On both throws, he was behind. And it's the plays like that where you just have to question whether or not it's the right thing to keep Justin Fields in the game. It's the right thing to keep this offense, how they're performing. It's a question of whether or not you want to keep all of these guys around. We're getting close to the trade deadline. And if you're another one of these 31 teams looking around, trying to find someone to trade for, you look at the Jets, you look at Breece Hall, you look at Garrett Wilson, you look at some of the defensive pieces like Jamie Sherwood, like Quinnen Williams, like Jermaine Johnson, some guys where you're like, these guys might be a lot more valuable if they're on a stable franchise, on a stable defense or offense. And I don't want to make it seem like the defense played terribly today. They did get their first turnover of the season today, although I don't necessarily think that's something to just write home about, that it was the first turnover of the season for the Jets. Now, moving over to the Broncos, this again was not a great game from the Broncos. In total, on the offensive side of the ball, Bo Nix had under 200 yards, 19 for 30. He did have a touchdown and was only sacked once, but the running game, 26 carries for 78 yards. That includes 2 runs that were 8 and 11 yards by J.K. Dobbins and Bo Nix, respectively. So if you take out those 19 yards on 2 carries, you're looking at more like 24 carries for 59 yards, and that's a bad performance. The passing game wasn't incredible, but you saw the Denver Broncos in that last drive when they got the field goal. I guess you should say the second to last drive because the last drive was victory formation. But that second to last drive, when they actually needed to put points on the board, they were able to do it. And they were able to ride an incredible performance from the defense. I already mentioned that the Broncos got Justin Fields down behind the line of scrimmage 9 times. That doesn't include the 15 quarterback hits that Justin Fields took today. Now, I don't think the Broncos are going to face an offensive line and an offense that is as poor as the Jets probably the rest of the season. But this is the type of performance where you get a lot of confidence. This is the game where your defense was supposed to shine. And even though it got kind of scratchy at the end because you're looking up at the clock and it's like, wow, the Jets are winning by 1 point against the Broncos in London with like 6 or 7 minutes left. And it's like, this is getting interesting. But the Broncos still end up winning this game. The Broncos still defensively, like, if you could give out a game ball, I would give out 11 to each of the starters on this defense because each one of them had a major hand in getting this win. The defense, the secondary with Surtain and Riley Moss and Hufanga and insert whoever else you want to talk about from the secondary. You know, they played incredible. You want to look at the pass rush. You have 5 or 6 different guys, I believe, maybe even 7 or 8 different guys that got in on a sack. It was led by Jonathan Cooper and Nick Bonito, as it has been for the last couple of years. And this is a defense now with a 9-sack performance. It's something that they can build off of. With a 3-game winning streak, they've held each of their last 3 opponents under 20 points. It's kind of been their magic number, as the only 2 teams who have gotten more than 20 points against them were the Colts and the Chargers. In both of those games, they lost. But the other 4 games, they held the Titans to 12, Bengals to 3, Eagles to 17, and Jets today to 11. It seems like the recipe for the Broncos to win games is keep the other team under 20 points, do just enough on offense to win games, and hopefully by the end of the season, and when they're hopefully in the playoffs. Right now, they're first in the AFC West. If they're still in that position in the playoffs, you hope that you're not just still doing just enough offensively. You hope you're starting to win games because of your offense. Now, the Broncos do not play again until next week, like the other 31 teams in the league. They face the other New York team. They face the Giants at home. It's going to be, I think, another game where the Broncos have a good chance to defensively win a game. I think the Giants, they kind of have a lot of mojo going right now because they just scored a lot of points against Philly in a big upset. They just had a 3-game stretch where even though they lost to the Saints, they beat the Chargers a few weeks ago, and they beat the Eagles on Thursday this week. They've got a lot of mojo going for them, and the Broncos, they're going to have to be aware of that. They're going to have to be aware of the fact that they're facing a team that's coming in with a lot of momentum, a lot of energy, 2 rookies that are kind of leading it between Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo. And they just need to kind of be ready. I'm on upset alert a little bit for the Broncos, but I have a feeling, they're going to be at home. They have a good coaching staff. They have a good team. It should be a game that they should win against the Giants. The Jets, on the other hand, also play at home next week against the Carolina Panthers. Of any game that they've played this year, the Jets have played good teams. You look at 5 of their 6 games, you're looking at teams that either are possibly making the playoffs or are going to win their division. I mean, the Steelers, Bills, Bucks, Cowboys, and Broncos, all 5 of those teams, like I just said, could be playoff teams or could be division winners. So next week against the Panthers, it's probably their best chance to get their first win of the season. And if they don't, they have another tough stretch coming up with Cincinnati, Cleveland, New England, Baltimore, Atlanta. I don't want to say that this is a team that could be the first one to go 0-17, but I do think this is the first team that needs to start making some moves and possibly take advantage of the upcoming trade deadline because Look, man, if someone's going to give you something for Brees Hall, at this point, you kind of need to take it because he's averaging over 5 yards a carry. But because of this poor offensive line and because of how poor the offense has been in general, he doesn't have a touchdown. He hasn't gotten in the end zone. Garrett Wilson, I think they said on the broadcast today, he was the leading receiver in the AFC. But again, because this offense has trouble getting down the field, nobody really cares. And Justin Fields, like, I just don't really know what to believe anymore. Whether I think he's good, whether I think he's bad, I just think he's just not. Maybe he's just not a starting quarterback in the NFL. And maybe the Steelers were right last year. Maybe the Bears were right 2 years ago to get rid of him. I guess I just don't know anymore. The last few weeks, I kind of feel like I've been slacking on the videos, so I'm going to have this one up. I'm hopefully going to have a video up about the Seahawks and Jaguars game as that one comes to a close later today. So if you want to see that video, make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, anything you agree or disagree with, and I'll see you in the next video.